I ran into Cole Seaton at Niles West High School this week. He was teaching a music class, and I was there for Career Development Day. Cole sang at the funeral when Paul Harvey's wife died, and Mr. Harvey was so moved, he asked that Cole sing at his funeral, and I do believe he did. My friend Maria Petroskas always said when the going gets rough, people retreat into the castle and pull up the drawbridge. But not Cole or the other teachers at Niles West. They're doing the good work, teaching writing, math, and science, and also music, fashion, and art. Jerry Johnson died this week. It's a good thing. Church drove away many of the older members before they died. The world tells us there isn't a future in teaching music, art, and fashion, or preaching to a bunch of old people. But if you hang on, you can have your funeral at Fourth Pres. We live with the wonder of the world and our place in it, and with the challenge and opportunity of living with one another. When the drawbridge goes up, sometimes the best place to be is on the outside. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith at Sunday Coffee Hour. We talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about the benefit of not serving, not speaking French, shuffling friends around, and soup hello. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Joshua. You have to make do when you're in the wilderness. And from Corinthians, we're welcomed into something greater than ourselves. The gospel reading was the story of the prodigal son. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Dana Casello. She preached about disreputable characters. We all know them. Jesus hung out with them. Dana asked if we're willing to do the same. Having empathy means being willing to meet people in the chaos of their own lives. We run the risk of entering into their wilderness. Few of us want to do that fully. Christ did the heavy lifting for us on our behalf. Dana said God has perfect empathy for us and that it's all about empathy. God is particularly generous. To him, there is no such thing as too much. It's too much for us to fathom because he is ultimate empathy. Dana said it was the plea that Bishop Marianne Buddy made to President Trump as part of the inauguration to have empathy. Elon Musk and Joe Rogan continue the narrative that empathy is a false belief that makes us accept false doctrines, and that empathy will align us to the reality of hell. Empathy creates the unexpected consequences of our own best intentions. Dana said the far right is looking for anything to justify President Trump's executive orders. She said they believe that God wants us to get our act together instead of being loving. But we know God's love for us is endless, and he has compassion for us and empathy, no matter how messed up we are. Anyone telling us otherwise is the false narrative, this side of hell and beyond. At St. James, the sermon was by Christopher Griffin. Chris preached that we all want to go home, whether we're away from home or not. Maybe we're just not at home wherever we are at home. And that's where God comes in. In the drawing of the prodigal son by Rembrandt, we see the central character. He longs to be whole and set free, to be at home with who he is, whether he's in the pig stall or in his father's house. We could call the story of the prodigal son the story of prodigal God. We can be at home wherever we are, not because we're worthy, but because we're worthy in God. We need to enter fully into our story wherever we are. We have a place to go in every story. We need to be whole in all those places. We're bigger than those places and bigger than the reality of this world. It gives God the most glory in the most places when we are at home everywhere. Christ didn't see himself saved in his earthly life. He was on a mission and he needed to be fully engaged in that. God isn't playing favorites, even with his beloved Son. We are blessed no matter what our location is, circumstances, or station in life. There's no inequity in God's love. It's equal because the place of God is equal. We can't believe God loved us if we can't love ourselves, and we can't believe we're loved unconditionally if we're always comparing God's love for us to his love for others. There is no acceptance in that. Yes, the story of the prodigal son is the story of the prodigal God. He's loving us no matter where we are, wherever we're at home. It's the acceptance that makes us at home everywhere. On my visit to Niles West High School, I noticed the trend. The natural look is in. Boys and girls with their hair just hanging down and wearing clothes with no color or particular style. Their demeanor was flat affect, but once engaged, they did light up. Perhaps it's part of being a young person, wanting to engage, but hiding out in the disappointment of lacking opportunities. Chicago orator Preston Bradley said, "We live with two principal motivations in this life. We live with the reality of the mystery of the world and our place in it, and with the practical concern of living with each other." He said the biggest assuage to the dichotomy between the two is laughter. He said it was sorely lacking in his time, and we could say the same in our time. We have two buckets, the godly and the ungodly reality of living our lives. Sometimes it's hard to do both things. It's easy to dump God into our ungodly daily living and then make up for it on Sunday by going to church. A friend of mine told me this week that he's a Christian but doesn't go to church. It's not the same thing. If you're a keen observer of trends and listen to what people say, you can see it's easy to conflate the two. We have our warm, fluffy version of God, and then every so often we get a reminder of who he actually is. We can't engage with God fully because we're on a mission, the mission of living our lives. We do our best to combine the two realities, but often we make the mistake of conflating them. The color mauve was made famous by Siri Mon by combining pink and gray into something completely different than the original two colors. And the word empathy is a modern word combining the meaning of compassion and forgiveness. We might say empathy is the mauve of emotions. It says we've taken God out of the equation because it's his role to give and ours to receive. We might not want a whole room painted mauve in this lifetime, but in the next one, you never know. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour, Sunday Coffee Hours every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.